Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Chef Jason Morse, your Ace Hardware grill expert, and we're back with another Red Vest approved video, and today we are talking corned beef. So we're getting you ready for St. Patrick's Day, or honestly, any time of the year that you're in the mood to enjoy some corned beef. We took it handcrafted. We're making this all from scratch. We're using the Lodge cast iron. We've got our chef's brine, lots of good stuff for you today. The best part is we're keeping this clean. No nitrites, no nitrates, no curing agents, pink salt, just good, clean fun. Where can you find this recipe? Well, you can go to acehardware.com and download this recipe. Go to tips and advice, type in recipe in the search category, and download this recipe. And be sure to tell your friends, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click on the subscribe button, and you'll be the first person to know when our next Red Vest approved video drops. Well, we've got a lot of stuff to get covered. We've got a great lineup of prep items here. We're gonna hop off real quick and do our food flyover and get this event started. We're gonna get ready to rock and roll. We're glad you're here. Thanks for cooking with us today. Okay, well, like we always do, we love to do this food flyover and give you kind of a chance to see all of the prep items that are involved in this corned beef recipe. And I'll tell you what do we have? We've got a brisket flat. We're looking at like 4 to 5 pound brisket flat. We've got some of our chef's brine. We're gonna use that to get started. We've got brown sugar. We need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We'll have 2 tablespoons of mustard seed. We need 1 tablespoon black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice, juniper berries, which are going to be in our chef's brine. We're gonna use 4 bay leaves as well. We're looking for some fresh ginger and garlic, a teaspoon of each. And the best part, look at that, a can of beets. Why beets, you ask? Well, we're gonna use the beet juice to help color our corned beef. We wanted to keep it clean. We wanted to freshen this recipe up. We're doing this without any curing salts or anything. We'll finish up with 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then, yeah, we've got cabbage, onions, carrots, and some beautiful Yukon Gold potatoes. So as you can see, that's a great food flyover. A lot of cool prep items in here to help us make this corned beef the best we can. Like I said before, the great thing is no nitrites, no sulfites, no curing agents, good, clean fun. All right, next up, we're gonna show you how to make the brine. It's time to make the brine, and first I want to talk a little bit about the beef we're going to use in this recipe. We're actually using a beef brisket flat. We bought a nice choice brisket flat. The beautiful thing about this flat, I bought a 5.5 pounder. I'm actually going to cut this in half, so now I have 2 pieces of corned beef. This will work out much easier and it'll be a lot easier for me to handle. Do you trim the fat? Well, that's really up to you, but my personal opinion, I'm going to leave the fat on the back. I'm also gonna leave the fat on the front because I wanna be able to have this fat protect this brisket a little bit while we turn it into corned beef. So let's get started and get into this brine. The first thing we're gonna use is our chef's brine. This is really gonna help get the flavor going in this guy and do a really nice job. What do you see floating in here? Well, I see herbs, spices, aromatics, all that good stuff. We brought 2 quarts of water to a boil. That's very important. We want everything to melt together quite nicely. Bring it to a boil, add the brine mix. Next, we're gonna add the 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of mustard seeds. We're gonna add a tablespoon of smoked black pepper. You can pick whether you want it cracked or not cracked. We're gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of whole cloves. Oh, this is starting to smell so good. We're gonna add ground allspice, a 1/2 teaspoon of that. And again, look at those juniper berries. Why do we like juniper berries? That is a beautiful aromatic and a botanical that gives this an excellent flavor. We're gonna add a couple bay leaves, and really this is up to you whether you wanna crush the bay leaves or not. I don't crush them, I leave them whole. Next, we're gonna add some of our squeeze tube garlic, a tablespoon of that, and we're gonna add a little bit of our squeeze tube ginger. I like these squeeze tubes, are great for cooking, super easy, put them in the refrigerator, storage works easy, fast, and you're done. We're gonna add 4 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to this. And the best part, what we talked about earlier, we did a little web research and we were trying to find some ways to make this cleaner. We found a great website and we used a tip from Wellness Mama, who actually uses beets as the coloring agent in her corned beef. I think it's awesome. I think this is such a great idea. And look at that beautiful brine. The nice part, like we said, all natural. No nitrites, no sulfites, no preservatives, just good, clean fun. All right, now, once this is all done, we're gonna let this cool to room temperature. That is very important. When we come back, we'll get the beef added in here and we'll get rolling. All right, it's brine time. And what are we starting off with first? Well, look at this. We're starting off with a beef brisket flat. And what do I like about this flat? We bought a 5-pound brisket flat. We're actually gonna cut it in half so we have 2 pieces of corned beef. That way it makes it a little bit easier to handle, a little bit easier to manage. But I love the brisket flat because there isn't a lot of fat on here. You can leave a little bit on top if you'd like. I don't trim any of this, I just leave it how it is. I don't worry about any of that. That'll actually work out best for us when it comes time for cooking. So this is now cooled to room temperature, and I'll tell you what we did as well. We're following the brine recipe to bring this water to temp, and then also to add the 2 quarts of ice water to it. So just follow the brine instructions for your brine, and all of that is listed in our recipe as well. But we brought this to a boil, we added all of our spices and herbs. It smells fantastic. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our ice water to this because we wanna make sure we're serving safe food. We wanna make sure we keep this safe. So we add our ice water to that. We're gonna give that a stir, and next, we cut our brisket in half. Just cut it right in half against the grain. So we didn't go with the grain, we cut against the grain. We're gonna set this in here, and we're gonna set that in there. And the beautiful part of this now, we're gonna go ahead and cover this, and we're gonna let this go for between 3 and 5 days. That is key. That will really allow this beef to pull up all that flavor, pull up some of that color, and now the corning process starts. So we're gonna cover this. We'll see you in 3 days. One of the things I think is great about this recipe is, yes, today we're using our cast iron Dutch oven on the big green egg, which is awesome. We're gonna give it that big, bold, robust charcoal flavor, right? That works great, and that imparts a really good flavor. This recipe, corned beef, also works great on the Weber. If you need just an extension of your kitchen and you're looking to bring this cooking experience outdoors, the Weber is awesome. You can do this recipe on the Weber. Now, if you want to add some flavor, you can always add a smoker box. You can always add some wood chips or wood pellets into that box to get a different flavor as well. Guess what? This recipe also works good on the Traeger wood pellet grill. The cool thing here, you're gonna get that true wood pellet flavor and experience. So the great thing is 3 different grills, 3 different flavors, but we're doing the same recipe. That's what I love about the cooking tools we sell here at Ace Hardware. We really have the best things, the best brands, and the best names in the business to really bring your cooking to the next level. Well, it's time to prep some of the vegetables. We've got that brine going. Now we're getting close to go time, right? It's been 3 days. We're getting ready to finish up our corned beef and cabbage, but we need to do a little prep. So I've peeled some carrots. I'm gonna trim one end of the carrots, trim the other end of the carrots, and basically all I'm going to do is cut these into some random size pieces, right? I want them to be a little bit large so that they cook up really nice once we get into the Dutch oven with this. Then we're gonna go into the cabbage, and I just split the cabbage in half. I take my knife that way, I take my knife very carefully that way, I cut out the core, and now I'm left with a nice head of cabbage. But I wanna cut this down a little bit smaller to get ready for dinner, so I'm gonna cut these into quarters. Now I've got a nice quarter to quarter cabbage, and it's great because what we're gonna do with that Dutch oven is, once the corned beef is done, we're gonna put all the vegetables on top. About during the last hour of the cooking process, we'll put all the veggies back on top, put the cover on there, let this thing go. The carrots will steam up, the cabbage will steam up, and we're gonna add a little bit of onion as well. So once again, I'm gonna take the onion, I'm gonna cut the ends off, I'm gonna peel it, and we're gonna peel it. That's right, we're gonna peel it. There we go. Get this all set and make sure I got all the skin off. Then I'm just cutting these again into quarters. So what I did was I split it in half. I'm gonna cut it in half this way, turn it, cut it in half that way, just to get some random pieces as well. Then I'm left with the next option, which is potatoes. So I'm gonna take some Yukon Gold potatoes, and what I'm gonna do on the potatoes again is cut them in half and cut them in half, and all I'm looking for is some wedges. The nice thing about this, I can put the potatoes in the Dutch oven if I want. I can roast them in the oven. I can grill them. A very versatile dish, but at the end of the day, look at that. Corned beef, cabbage, and potatoes. That's gonna be awesome. Next up, we're gonna take the corned beef out of the brine, and we're gonna do a little sear quickly in our Dutch oven, and we're gonna get this thing going. Okay, we're at the Big Green Egg. We've got this guy preheated up at 300 degrees, and look what we've got inside. Once again, our Lodge cast iron Dutch oven. We're gonna take the cover off that, and we're gonna set that to the side. Then, we're gonna go into our corning agent, our brine, and we're gonna pull out our corned beef. Look at the beautiful color on that. Now what we're gonna do is, guess what? We're gonna sear it off in here. So we're gonna take advantage of that nice hot cast iron, and we're gonna sear off both sides of this corned beef to get it going and to get the flavor started before we add a little bit of stock, put the cover on, and finish. Once we get a good sear on one side, we're gonna flip it over to the other side, and that is what we are looking for. See that beautiful browning? That's the sear we're looking for. Now, once I flip it, I will actually add the second piece in. Make sure you don't have any beet stuck to it, but I'll add the second piece in to get both of these guys going. And now we're gonna let them sear. And once again, we're doing that because we wanna get a little bit of flavor developed. We wanna caramelize a little bit of that fat ahead of time and make sure we get this going. All right, now both sides are seared, right? Guess what's next? Next comes that 4 to 5 hour process where we're gonna get this thing going. We're gonna finish this up. We're gonna add some stock to it. And we're only gonna add about a cup or two of stock. All right, and then we're gonna put the lid back on and we're gonna shut the Big Green Egg, and now we have the best ultimate cooking experience going on here. We're gonna let that go, and we're talking probably 3 to 5 hours. What I'm looking for is that brisket to slowly start to pull apart but not fall apart, because then the final hour of cooking is when we're gonna add all of our vegetables back in and get this guy ready. Time to check this guy out. We're looking at about 3.5 hours right now. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and put the cabbage in here around the sides. We're gonna go ahead and add our potatoes in. We're gonna add our veggies and our carrots and our onions. Add some more of that stuff as well. And we're just gonna go ahead and load all this. This is what we want. This is kind of the beautiful one-pot meal in our Dutch oven on our Big Green Egg, right? We're gonna cover it up now. And for the last approximate hour, we're gonna let those veggies finish up till they're nice and soft. Then we're ready to serve. Oh, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you can smell that or see that steam, but this is it. This is the final dish. We took it out of the cast iron carefully, used our tongs, transferred everything over, sliced it really nice, and look at the beautiful corned beef we got out of this recipe. The great thing is, no nitrites, no sulfites, no curing agents, just good, clean fun. We use the beets and the beet juice to give us that beautiful, beautiful color. Like I said, there you have it. That's our final dish. I think this turned out great. This is so fun. And like we talked about a little bit earlier, this works great. We used the Big Green Egg today. This works great in the Weber. This works great in the Traeger as well. So once again, I'm Chef Jason Morris, your Ace Hardware grill expert. Don't forget to head over to acehardware.com. Go to tips and advice in the search category up there. Type in recipes. You'll be able to download this guy right here. Or click the I on the YouTube video for info. You'll be able to see all the gear, all the gadgets and products that we used today that are available at your local Ace Hardware store. And please, 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 please tell your friends. Join in on the YouTube fun. We have so many videos coming. I hear a rumor we're doing lobster soon. We've got some pretty cool stuff planned for you this year. So tell your friends, subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the little subscribe button. You'll get a notification, you'll get an email letting you know when our next Red Vest approved video is live. I'm Chef Jason Morris, your Ace Hardware grill expert. Thank you so much for taking the time to cook with us today. We'll see you soon.